someone holding a grudge, or you're holding a grudge, and it's making you feel alone or distance yourself from people. Or you may be distancing yourself away from a person. Three of Cups, and you're going to bump into them. You may have had a big row, with a best friend or something that's gone on. 3, 4, 3 again. Spilling the tea. Like a friendship's come to an end and you haven't been yourself since, but what's caused the argument is your worldview, what's going on in the world. Wise owl, wisdom, finding yourself, faith, spirituality. What did you fall out over? Why is this Empress feeling alone? It could be a best friend. Whose view of the world changed. You've grown apart from your best friend. This is why the Empress is feeling alone. You think, you've started to think one way. Your best friend started to think another way. See, your thoughts, it's your thoughts. Your view of the world, your world view. Spirituality, faith, this is what's caused this big row between best friends. Now 3, 4, you might not have seen each other for 3 or 4 months. So feeling alone, you were going to bump into them. You are going to bump into this person. Number 9, they're also feeling alone. It's because of politics, worldviews. Going back to 2020, I'm picking up here, tidal waves of emotion. You've had a big row due to your beliefs. I said I'm picking up faith. Now, this has happened 3 or 4 months ago. Number 9, this is when this happened. This is when you started feeling alone 3 or 4 months ago. You're going to bump into this person again. Something's wrong. Something is wrong, something major. Ace of Cups. So you've had a row with a best friend due to your worldviews. You haven't seen them for 3 or 4 months. You're going to bump into them. You're going to think, oh, maybe we could mend things, have a cuppa, meet up, have a coffee. That's not going to be the case. There's something wrong. 5 of Wands, 7 of Wands. King of Cups. They've met somebody in that 3 or 4 months since you haven't seen them. They've met this King of Cups. They've totally changed. They're not the person they were 3 or 4 months ago. They're not the person they were. I know you've had a row and fell out, but you were best friends. That person's gone. The old person you knew, like day and night now. Light and day, dark and light. They've met someone and they've took them over. Yeah, 5, 7, 9. I think it could be addiction, confirmation, So while you've been separated from your best friend, they've met somebody and become addicted to something. They're not the same person they were before you had this row. That changed. It was due to your worldviews and your outlook. The world, the Empress. You've lost your best friend, feeling alone. You're gonna bump into this person 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. And their whole world has changed since you've had this row. They've met someone, they've become addicted, their world's changed. They feel alone. Spirituality. They may have turned to drink and drugs because of this person they've met. 5 of Cups, overflowing. They're in the grip of addiction. That's confirmation. When you bump into this person, I mean, they're basically Queen of Wands, unrecognisable within 3 months. You know, the way you see these celebrities now, all the weight loss, that's what you're going to bump into. Their appearance will shock you. This was your best friend 3, 4 months ago. Their appearance, when you bump into them, you're going to be shocked. They're in the grip of addiction due to a person they met after you had a row. Knight of Wands, that's what all the wands are. They've got them addicted. They've lost a lot of weight. They've lost the faith in the spirituality. That was your friendship, you know, that was what you had in common. I said, you had everything in common, but your thoughts and your beliefs started to change between the two of you. It's caused a row 3 or 4 months ago. You're going to bump into them. They've lost their faith in the spirituality, become addicted in the company of this person. Faced out, you won't recognise them. They could be, I said, you're going to bump into them. The weight loss is going to be dramatic. I'm just getting the picture there. They could be doubled over. Out of their minds. Don't know where they are. They might not even recognise you. Who are you? Do I know you? Might take them a minute to recognise you. They might be that off the. They might be that spaced out when you bump into them. They might not even recognise you, and you're not going to recognise them. Judgment. This is. I'm just picking up there. The Empress, and it's not usually Empress behaviour to think. The first thought is, wise owl. Since they've left your company, their life has gone down the pan, basically. You were each other's strength for a long time, but your worldview's changed, your mind, your thoughts. Theirs might have been going where you were both faith, spiritual. Theirs might have been turning the other way, where it's affected the mental health. They've now become addicted. Should be ringing a bell with you. Wise owl, I said, the Empress, the Hierophant, spiritual, faith. You've kept yours, they've lost theirs. They've gone down the path of addiction now due to somebody they've met after you two had a row. You're going to bump into them. The eyes. This is it. The eyes, when you look at them, they're going to look at you. There might be a moment of unrecognition between the pair of you. Totally unrecognisable. To your eyes, the wise eyes, the weight loss will be dramatic. The addiction will be clear. It could be doubled over. Double vision, totally out of the mind when you bump into them. Be prepared. Maybe when you're out in town, city centre. I'm just picking up the church as well there. Spiritual church, religious church, whatever it was, the Hierophant. I'm just picking up here that you're going to say to them, do you want a coffee? Do you need some money? Do you want something to eat? Do you want to come and have a chat? Do you want to come back to the church? You're gonna attempt to try and get them back. Probably going to warn them, you carry on like this, it's going to end in a disaster, which a lot of addiction usually does, doesn't it? World view. They feel like the world's against them now. Under judgment, karma. This should be ringing a bell. Judgment, karma, the beliefs, the faith. Like the world's against them. You might have kept your faith. They might have gone down the conspiracy route, where you feel like your beliefs are totally changed, like you couldn't be friends anymore. That's what I'm picking up. But before this, you were so close, going back years, probably childhood friends. Since childhood, you've grown up together. You might have travelled the world together, gone on holidays together and everything. It's gone. And now they're under. Addiction's got hold of them. Ace of Pentacles, due to a person they met after you two had a row, and they're fueling their new way of thinking. You'll know what I'm saying. If this is meant for you, they've changed within the 3 or 4 months since you last seen them. They were changing anyway. Your thoughts, I said this from the start. Your way of thinking was changing, where it was affecting your friendship to the point you had a row. 3 or 4 months ago, when you're seeing them, when you're going to bump into them, could be in town, you could say, do you want a coffee? I was picking up coffee. They could be that down the hill. They could have gone downhill that fast. You could be offering them a coffee, like homeless, unrecognisable. See, it's summer now, the sun's shining. I'm just picking up there when I say they might not recognise you. You might have big sunglasses on or something and your hair down or something. For a second, you haven't really changed much. But for a second, they don't recognise you either, or they just might be in a haze. Ace of Pentacles there. They might be just in the grip of whatever they've taken, and that might be the reason they don't recognise you, because you haven't really changed. They have. They're completely lost right now. They are in the grip of it. Whoever they met after they had a row with you, nothing but trouble, and it's going to take a lot to dig themselves out of the mess that they've dug themselves into. Quite deep addiction within 3 or 4 months. You're going to try and help them. You might even say, do you want to come back to mine? Do you want to stay at mine? Try and get them away from whatever company they're in. That's affecting the mind. And obviously the physical health with their addiction, but it started with the mind, the thoughts. They might have met them on the internet while they were friends with you, and they changed their world view. The view of the world changed. You'll know this is for you, wise Empress. Best friend, childhood. Now I'm saying that it could even be your child. Just bear that in mind. That just crossed my mind. They could be in legal trouble. They could have been stealing, shoplifting to fund their addiction. Strength. Here you go. I said you're going to try and help them. Get away from the person, get out of their addiction, get out of the mindset that caused their addiction. Get them back to their old ways, their old way of thinking. You know, it's like they've lost grip of reality. The thoughts changed, the mind changed. Now they've changed themselves. The appearance is changing. And they need, if you don't help them now, this is meant to be. You've been friends, it's like a tie, you're bonded, connected from childhood. If you don't help them now, there's no hope for them. They're on a downward spiral. When you bump into them, that's the chance they've got. You're their chance of digging themselves back out of the mess they've got themselves into. They're lost in addiction. And it's only been 3 or 4 months, so whatever it is, whatever these new drugs are that's coming out, it's something like that. You know where they're all bent over in the street, they're not standing straight, they're bent over. Just picking up there, I mean, obviously I'm a scouser. You could bump into them on a day out. You could be with somebody who's got a different accent, different location, relocation. Just like I say, different city, like from Liverpool to Manchester, from, you know, the person they're with. I mean, you two best friends, childhood, you both speak the same like me. They could be with someone from a different regional accent I'm picking up there. And they're the one who's providing them with the drugs, providing their addiction, mental health, addiction. They're just not the same person you knew 3 months ago. I said 3, 4 months ago, 4 months ago. You step in and help them, get them away from the situation they're in. Within 7 months, you can get your friendship back on track. And it takes a lot of strength, a lot of hard work, but you've got to move now when you see them. This could be the message you need to receive. When you see this message, when you bump into them, you've got to get them away. If you want to help them, they could be going through karma, judgment. I got earlier, and sometimes you're supposed to, you know, say if you could be interrupting their karma, their judgment. But being the Empress you are, you're going to anyway. They need to be around you, back around the people they knew to recover. Once they spend the night, I said, you might say, come back to mine, come and stay at mine. Once they've spent that couple of hours with you, 3, 7, 9 are the numbers there. Once they've spent a few hours back in your company, That might be all it takes to get them back on the right track. Take off, lift off, back onto the road to recovery. They've got bad influences. See that? Telling them things, telling them lies, bad influences, bad communication. I said it was something to do with your worldviews, filling the head with nonsense. They've got bad influence around them, bad company. They need to get back into your company. A couple of hours spent back in your company, and they'll start waking up again and lifting themselves out of the mess they've got themselves into. It's addiction. I'd like a new drug, didn't I? Mind altering. I don't know what it is. I don't really want to mention all of them. I might get banned on YouTube, you know. These new drugs where they've got them doubled over in the street and stuff. Changes the state. Stood there bent over in doorways and stuff. That's what they're on. Journeyed into moon, into space, into another world. Space, spice. But it's rotting the mind, it's deteriorating the mind, deteriorating the thoughts. This is divine intervention. When you bump into this person, you haven't seen them for a while, you've grew up together, best friends, you've had a row. It's meant to be when you bump into them. They're going to be in the right stage. You're unrecognisable, out of the mind when you see them. Be prepared. Very strong, so connected, so tied since childhood. You're not going to let them go once you get hold of them. You're going to offer them the help. Bring them out of the mess they've got themselves into. I said, take them for a coffee, offer them a coffee, offer them a bed for the night. You're the only chance they've got. Picked up an empress feeling alone. You feel lost without their friendship. It's important to you that you get them back out of this addiction. Third eye, it's important. The wheel of fortune, the empress, the compass. It's important to your life, to your world, that you get this person back to the way they were. That's your intuition's telling you. I can end this reading now. It's meant for you. You'll know it's for you. That's what your intuition is telling you. You might have been thinking about them the last week, being on your mind. That thought, you know, your thoughts manifest. You've been thinking about them now. You're going to bump into them, but they're going to be unrecognisable. But this meeting, the Empress, the Wheel of Fortune, you feel alone without them. They've got lost without you. A couple of hours back in your company, you'll start waking up. You'll start coming to the senses. You're their chance of, you know, I said it's only been 3 or 4 months, so it's not going to take them long to get back to their old self again. You're their chance, Empress, of turning this person's life back around to the way it was. You'll know this reading's for you. It'll make sense for the person it's meant for, obviously. Not everything's going to resonate with everyone. Might be just bits here and bits there. But it'll ring a bell for the person it's meant for. You know, something's telling you they're in with a bad crowd, a bad gang of people. They've got to get away from this crowd they've got in with. Your intuition's telling you. And picking up which route to take, direction, compass. I said, you're going to be out. You're going to be out and about and bump into them. You could have dreamt about them, but they've been on your mind. But you are really going to help them. You're going to give them hope. You're going to stand them back up, and you're going to give them the hope that they can get back to their old selves, because they haven't been lost for long. I said, you've been thinking about them a lot. You've still got a lot of time for them. You were meant to see this reading. I said, you've been thinking about them. You could have been dreaming about them. Now you could even see this reading and you're thinking, you know this is for you. You've grew up together. This bond can't be separated. Yes, you've had a row. Unfortunately, they've got themselves in with a bad crowd. It happens. And picking up, I said, connected from childhood. You could finish each other's sentences. You could have, you know, that kind of bond, that kind of connection. Best friend, Gemini, Leo, strength, twins. Doesn't mean you are Gemini or Leo, but that kind of energy, even though you're not, you're just best friends. Soul sisters, soul friends, soul connection, old souls, past life ties, connection. And all it was a change in views, change in worldviews, a change of thought, a change of mindset, worldviews, future. And look how quick people can change. 3 or 4 months in the grip of addiction. And it's these new drugs, like I say, doubles over that space spice. But it was because they couldn't cope with being separated from you. Wise Al, you could have stood stoic, stood strong in your beliefs. It's them, they who slipped away. You still stand firm. It was their thoughts, their vision of the future that was shaken. It's the thoughts and their vision of the future that has led them down the wrong path. They're not in a good place. They felt rejected by you, like you turned your back on them, walked away from them. So when you bump into each other again, get hold of them, give them a hug, and find the strength to offer them the help. It's not going to take long because it hasn't been long. And once they've spent a couple of hours back in your energy, back in the right frame of mind, they'll wake up, they'll come out of it. Broke their heart when you two had this row. You might have said, I never want to see you again. It happens. Friendships, rows. Broke their heart to the point, and you might start blaming yourself because they're addicted. You can't. So bear that in mind. You can't blame yourself for their addiction. It's the person or the crowd they fell in with after you that's caused this addiction, not you. So don't blame that row for the mess they've got themselves into. The eyes again, I kept saying, I said back, the eyes, their eyes, despair, sadness, you'll see it in the eyes. You probably were lovely, bright blue and sparkly, for example, something to do with the lovely eyes and the light's gone out of the eyes. Addiction, I'm just picking up there, the addiction again. When they see you, they'll see the old selves, they'll see how quickly the life has slipped. Like right through the reading, faith, spirituality, beliefs. You're gonna be their strength. Leave this addiction behind and get back to their old self, their old wise self. And in turn, you won't be feeling so alone because you'll have your best friend back. This is about two best friends, two soulmates, two childhood friends whose views changed. It caused a row, One's, you know, stuck with their beliefs, their faith. The other's gone down the wrong path. You're gonna meet up, bump into each other,